I'd get in the team. I think that's scarred Arteta. If I think people are coming for me, attacking me, I will not move from my stance.
I've got Jamie Carragher here today, the legend that is. And today he's going to be answering every question from these fans.
Hey, Tom.
Whenever you're ready, mate.
I wanted to sort of go back to what you were saying about tacticos earlier. When do you think it will get to a point where we have one of those creators sort of sat in those chairs that you're sat in on telly? Because I know you've got sort of hosts, so you've got Dave Jones on Monday Night Football, but you don't really have those guys that have not played the game that are very good. I think there's a lot of really good content creators that talk about the game at a really good level. Do you think there's ever going to be someone sat in your chair, in your shoes? And if so, when do you think that'll be?
Sky have Saturday Social, don't they, as well?
I think you mean on a big Super Sunday game also.
Yeah. Like next to you kind of thing.
Because it's already sort of starting, I think, but in those sort of prime time seats that you and Gary are in.
I think it still might be a while, and I'm not saying that because I don't think anyone's credible enough or good enough. It's not like that. But I think right now, I think there is a space for you, and there is space. You're everywhere. I think that is on Saturday Social, there is on Sky Sports News. But I think I actually do think your reach and what you do now on your own socials is, and that's why I brought the question up. I can see where that's going, in terms of, I think a lot of younger football fans now, everybody's on the phone, whether you like it or not. And I think you guys in here will almost be the first people they go to, in terms of, the news content after the game. Do they want it right now? Do they want to wait till Monday Night Football, or do they want to wait here? The whole world now, in everything, we want things right now. No one can ever watch. If you were watching a TV series 20 years ago, you'd have to wait a week for the next episode. No one's waiting for nothing. Everybody wants something now. And that's the big advantage you guys have got in that user straight on your phone straight away, content creators. Whether you'll ever get in that big chair on a Super Sunday, I think that'd probably be a while, if I'm being totally honest. Are you going to tell Roy Keane he's not on? Because I'm not.
Nicely done, Tom. Well done,
okay,
mate.
Cheers, Tom.
Oh, mate, I'm just feeling so down about Spurs at the moment. We're going
Ben,
like...
I don't care. But what I do care about is you guys at home subscribing. I've got a big goal of hitting 100,000 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, please take 3 seconds. It means things like today can happen more often. Go down there, subscribe, and I'll really appreciate it.
What kit's that, by the way? Who you wanting in that kit you could play now?
Maybe Gaza from back in the day. Could do with one of them. I was going to ask you about Spurs. Do you think Spurs getting relegated this season is the biggest shock moment in Premier League history, or the biggest event to happen in Premier League history if we do?
Leicester?
Yeah,
no, that's the other one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of where what would be the biggest shock. I mean, at the time, Leicester 5,000 to 1.
Yeah.
Yes,
what were Tottenham to go down? I don't know.
That's a good question, yeah.
What's been shorted now? Well, you did finish
17th, so that plays into it.
Yeah.
But we are the 9th richest club in the world, one of the richest clubs in the Premier League. Obviously, the expectations, I predict us to finish 5th this season. Looks silly now, but I don't know. I think...
What do you think's got more chance of happening in the next 50 years? A club... Tottenham are one of the big six. I know people don't like us talking like that, but Tottenham are one of the big six in the league in terms of revenue. Is that more likely to happen in the next 40, 50 years, that one of those clubs goes down, or a Leicester wins the league? I can't believe Tottenham... It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it all depends. I mean, they're so badly run at the moment, possibly, depending on your opinion. But you are where you are, right?
I think probably Leicester is probably still more...
rare.
Still more of a shock.
But do you not think there are better teams now? Like, for instance, the likes of Bournemouth's, the likes
What do you mean
of...
better team?
As in they are playing like more competitively. They are getting... Brentford could be in the Champions League, possibly.
Yeah, the level of the rest of the league
The level of the rest of the league has gone higher.
What I mean, there'll be different years. We can have different debates about the league this year is strong. Now everyone's saying the quality in the league. So that's what I said earlier on. If the team can beat a team at the top, we always say this is a great sign that our league's fantastic. But if our teams at the top are not winning every week, like they were with Liverpool and Man City a few years ago, saying, it's not that good. They can't be champions. They're not as good as what we've seen. So you can't have everything in a league. You want every bit of it to be competitive. So for me right now, this is a great league in terms of, not entertainment in terms of great games or great players, but the relegation fight's up for grabs. Top four Champions League positions is up for grabs. So for us on TV, this is going to be a brilliant end to the season. You know, it will be. But do I necessarily think this is a great quality league football-wise? I don't. I really don't. And I'm not saying that because I probably said it last season as well. Man City and Liverpool dropped off from where they were a few years ago. And I think that's what's helped Arsenal this season. I don't think Arsenal are actually better than they were 2 years ago, but the other two have dropped back. So that's what's given sort of Arsenal listen, it doesn't matter. The job is to be the best in the league at whatever stage. Yeah. But let's get back to Tottenham. Let's stop talking about Arsenal. Sorry.
I think also because in the last 4 or 5 years in the Prem, the promoted teams have just gone straight back down. Yeah. So I don't think people are quite kind of deep in how shocking it is for us to be the ones that are the first ones to almost break that mould. It's kind of like...
Well, I still couldn't believe when I first started watching football, it was the mid-80s, I still couldn't believe, you know, my dad telling me that Man United got relegated in the 70s and Tottenham got relegated in the 70s, thinking, that can't happen. But in those days, a team could come up from the second division and win the league, Nottingham Forest, or go really close to winning a title or be in the top 4 or 5. That doesn't happen now.
No, not at all. The money, though, plays has a huge part of that as well.
So that's why it's a bigger shock. Yeah, that's like, how can a team that rich...
We spent 250 million in the summer as well.
Yeah.
To get relegated.
Do you think you're going to go down now deadly serious?
Yes.
I do.
I think we're doomed.
I do.
Especially this weekend as like other teams gaining ground on us losing again.
I think when that Sunderland game finished was the first time I really believed. I thought, these are going to go down. I'd never believed it before that. I just thought... They're a little bit like Everton the last few years. Where I just think sometimes with teams, they're not supposed to go down. There's just something about it. Everton end up playing like Real Madrid when they're in a relegation fight. But that's the problem with
we don't have that in us, yeah.
Every team, my son plays for Wigan, and they've been fighting relegation in League One. But with 10 games to go, everyone starts winning. Wigan start winning. Everyone starts panicking they could go down, and they get results.
Why is that?
You must be the only...
The rest of the teams around us are doing that now as well.
I know, but I bet you're in every league in this country. There's teams fighting relegation who are getting results that you don't expect. You're the only team in English football who aren't doing it.
Yeah.
That's why you're going down.
Well done. If you guys want to be on the next video, then make sure you head over to my Instagram, head over to my Twitter, head over to all my social media and give me a follow. I normally put out a message saying on this day at this location, I'm shooting and need fans. All the people here have done exactly that by reaching out to me, and you can be one of them in the next video by doing just that.
Jamie, how you doing?
Hey mate, you okay?
You okay?
What team's that?
Fulham.
Fulham.
Yep. So it's kind of a fitting question for a Fulham fan as well. Would you rather add one more League Cup to your career with Liverpool or have won an international trophy with England?
Win an international trophy with England.
Okay.
Yeah, not a League Cup.
FA Cup?
FA Cup? No. I'd probably have rather have won
Premier League? Someone with England?
Yeah, it'd be so much bigger. You'd be talking about it for 30, 40 years. Now, you're asking me if I'd rather have won the league or the Champions League. Now, that's different.
Oh, I'll ask you. Would you rather?
Yeah. No, I would always, if it was a big trophy with Liverpool, I'd much rather win a big trophy with Liverpool.
Do you think it's different? Because John's obviously a fan of a team that's never won a trophy.
Yeah, Fulham never won a major trophy. I think we're the biggest club in world football.
You're upset that Silva dropped all those players for the FA Cup game? Yeah, I thought you would be.
Yeah, I am. Unless Southampton go and win it.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Lovely.
I just think, for me, I always used to think it was a north-south divide thing a little bit. When we were growing up as kids, it was Liverpool and Everton. I never dreamed about playing for England. But when I used to listen to Frank or Joe Cole or John Terry or Rio, it felt like England was the ultimate. For me, it was never the ultimate. It was never like, I used to dream about, winning the league or winning the FA Cup with Everton as a kid. And then when I started at Liverpool, for me, it was always club football was always far more important.
Did the England setup when you were a part of it play a part in that not being as enjoyable? Famously, you guys all said it was just a little bit of a rubbish experience, right? Do you think if you're in this modern era, that would change? You'd look forward to going to England more? You'd have more of an allegiance to it?
You know what? The thing with me as well is a little bit, I never felt fully part of it because I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough to be in the team. So I was almost like what you would call a squad player in a club. So no one can tell me the squad players in football clubs, when the team wins something, they feel it the same way that I did when I was lifting the Champions League. I was playing every game and the sub felt the same as me. He didn't. You don't feel the same. So I never felt like this real, England. But it wasn't an England thing because for England under 21s, I was vice captain, Frank Lampard was captain. I was a main part of the team. I was in the team. I was the vice captain. I loved it. I loved playing for England under 21s. Great memories, great games, going away. Loved it. I just never felt part of it with England, but that is not no one's fault. That was just because I wasn't good enough to be in the team.
Yeah,
well done.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I just want to talk about obviously arguably the biggest game of the season on Sunday between City and Arsenal and the mentality.
You're already sweating.
just the mentality of majority of Arsenal fans, I'm obviously not one of them, and is that when we go into the game, almost we'd be happy to not lose and take a point. But I find that so jarring and annoying because obviously we're top of the league, we have a point to prove. Why not go and win the game sort of thing? And we've seen obviously previous years and how we set up previously against City and stuff like that. But if we, obviously God willing, we go get the Premier League title, you want to play against the best of teams. And then we haven't shown it really when obviously the Man United loss and us losing or drawing to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and all these teams that are in and around us. We haven't really performed against the big teams. Why won't we have that mentality to go and win sort of thing? I just wanted to get your thoughts on why we're so
just because you have the mentality to go and win doesn't mean you're going to win.
Yeah,
you know, it's not just like you've got a mindset to go there, and you know if you win, you've won the Premier League. Yeah, I get that, but you've got to think what gives you your best chance of winning. What do you think gives Arsenal their best chance of winning?
I feel like we go toe to toe because last season we played them Man City away. Up until Trossard got sent off, we were winning the game, and we had good enough chances to go win the game. And I feel like we've seen in the cup finals a lot more one-off, and we almost were surprised about how City set up. Why can't we almost do the same thing? And because I feel like we're more than capable of doing that. We have players who are physical enough to almost run and cope with Manchester City. I feel like with the way Arteta's almost stuck in his own ways, and I'm not, obviously we're top of the league for a reason, but I just feel like in a game of this magnitude.
It's funny, this game, and this happens a lot in football, and people say, we've got to go for it. Okay, what does that mean, go for it? So it means, okay, we want to attack. To attack, you got to have the ball, number one. So, yes, you will want to have a lot of the ball, but so will Man City.
Yeah.
So they've got good players as well. So they want to do the same thing. So you can, even if you're a manager and you're set up to be attacking, you still don't know if you're going to get a lot of the ball, really. The only thing what someone can't stop you doing is what you do without the ball. So no one can stop. Pep Guardiola can't stop Mikel Arteta how he's going to press. So is he going to press high? Is he going to press deep? Is he going to be a mid-block, a low block, or press high? So that for me, when people say to me, they had to go, I always go off what they did without the ball. You can't fully control what you're going to do with the ball. You don't even know if your players, Zuba Mendy might have a poor game. Declan Rice might have a poor game. You're trying to get into midfield, keep losing the ball. So you can't get it up there. But what you can do is what you do without the ball. Now, the interesting thing with Arteta is, we know Arteta. We know him. It's not a criticism. He's been really good at doing this, okay? The one time he went to Arsenal and he went for it, they got battered 4-0 or 4-1. He tried to press all over the pitch, man to man. I think he had the young lad, but I don't know if he was young. Holden, was it Rob Holden? The centre-back's name? Yeah. Manchester City were doing what Arsenal should have done at the weekend against Bournemouth. They're pressing right, get it into Haaland. He absolutely bullied him. I think they got beat 4-1, 4-0, something like that. I think that scarred Arteta. And I think every time he's gone back now to the Etihad, he's sort of, no. We're going to play to our strengths, which the strength of Arsenal is they're the best defensive team in the league. The strengths aren't in the attacking third. For me, you just haven't got an outstanding, great attacking player.
And I also feel like it'll be such a confidence boost for the team going into the rest of the season. I feel like if we had that mentality of obviously not to concede, not to lose, I feel like people would say that will be the deciding factor to win the league. I feel like I used to say we won't drop points. So obviously we're playing Fulham and West Ham next. We obviously seen we lost to Bournemouth at home. And I feel like if we win that game against City, put in a good performance, we'll have a massive chance.
Knock-on effect.
Yeah, and a lot of people will believe that Arsenal will go on to win those games.
I think the one thing that lets you down a little bit is big away games. Now, I don't know if that's been the case going back, but I just think of this season, I think of watching you in the Champions League. I think you had one really big result away and into Milan. And I think you rested half your team in that. But I think of Anfield, I think of Aston Villa. They're one of the top teams. Man United started the season very fortunate. And there's another game, I think you drew at Chelsea.
Yeah, they had 10 men.
Yeah, we did. Exactly. So, and I think a couple of away games. I watched the game in Lisbon, watched the game in Leverkusen. Not great teams.
Do you think they can handle the pressure? Do you think the pressure's really mounting here?
I don't know, because some of these games in tournament go back to the start of the season. I just do think Arsenal, they remind me of the teams I played in for Liverpool under Gerrard Houllier and Rafa Benitez, and we were very strong defensively. We probably just lacked something a little bit more in the attack, or maybe one more player. And when I look at Arsenal, I've said for a long time, there's something they lack. They might still win the league.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something they lack, and I think that hurts them away from home.
Do you think they will win the league? If you had to make an option right now, and again, pre-Man City... I think a lot of it is on this game. I still think right now, Arsenal, I think if they get beat at City, I think they could fall apart.
But I think if they get out of there and they get a draw, then they have to win. If they get a draw, as long as they don't get beat, I think they'll crawl over the line.
Okay. Cams, well done, mate. Well done. Good question. Go on toes, mate, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so I had a couple retirement-related questions. There was two of them, actually. First was, I think when you played QPR. Sorry.
Go.
I think the last day of the season you played QPR and you crashed one against the post from like 30 yards. Was there a bit of a thought afterwards of, why did I not do that a bit more throughout my career?
Yes, and probably was a little bit. But to be honest, I was very much a player of, I always played for the team. I always everything was I used to get a lot of criticism from Liverpool supporters when I played fullback because I didn't go forward too much. But a lot of my thinking was a little bit, you're going to leave something here. It was always like a little bit of, it wasn't a bit like I'm just going to go and do what I want. And the reason I hit that shot was my last game. And I'm a bit like, I'm allowed to do what I want. I've played 737 games for Liverpool. I'm going to do what I want now in the last 10 minutes. So there was an element of that. If that was a normal game, I'd have never have had a shot there. But maybe I should have done. And I'd have had more goals than on my record.
Yeah, and in the following season, 13-14, obviously Liverpool came really close to winning the league and Suarez, Sturridge scoring for fun. I remember after the Palace game, you spoke about that defensive immaturity with, I think it was Saka and Skirtle that season. Was there a part of you that thought, if I'd stayed one more year, we'd have got over that line?
No. A lot of Liverpool fans say that, and it's nice. I always think when people say, that when you leave. The reason I retired is I wanted to retire before the football left me.
What line? I hope you got that copyrighted, by the way. I hope you get that copyrighted.
But for me, because if I wasn't playing for Liverpool, I'd have played another year somewhere else if it wasn't my club. The fact that it was my club and I knew so many people and I felt it so emotionally, I had to get out before I fell apart as a player. And I just didn't want Liverpool fans going to a game and going, oh, fucking hell, Jamie Carragher's playing. Now, they may have been doing that a couple of years before, but it wasn't en masse. It wasn't the whole crowd. It was like me, obviously, people have opinions. And that's the reason why I retired when I did. So I still felt I could play a Premier League game in my last season where I didn't feel like,
having a bad impact.
Yeah, I'm okay. So
do you think that you would help maybe in the changing rooms?
No, I tell you, I always say this. The reason Liverpool had such a poor defensive record is, not because those defenders were bad players, because they had no protection. The team was just all out attack. I don't care how good of a defender you are. You need protection. The greatest defender for me is Franco Baresi, but everyone always talks about the Arrigo Sacchi's pressing team. Midfield, he had no wingers. He had a midfield four in front of him. He needed that. Virgil van Dijk this season, we're all saying, he doesn't look like the same player. Okay, he's not quite the same player. But he hasn't got Henderson, Fabinho and Wijnaldum in front of him, hasn't he? So I don't care who you are. Chelsea, Makelele in front of John Terry. So these are all great centre-backs. So I don't care. If you've got no protection, you're going to concede goals. But where I could have helped, I do believe, was in the game against Chelsea, in that last game. I think if I was on the pitch that day, nothing to do with football, I think, because I'd been in that position so often, you're attacking the cop and you need a goal. And I just think with my experience of talking to people, because Stevie's head had gone, for obvious reasons. And I just think I'd been the one he'd have listened to. No one else on that pitch at that stage would probably be able to say anything to Stevie in any way.
Steven Gerrard, yeah.
And his head's gone. He was having shots all over the place because he wanted to try and rectify the mistake. And I think I'd have been able to sort of get into his head and other players' heads, nothing with the ball, nothing with the defending, just talking to people through the game, keep people going, keep doing the same thing. Come on, we're attacking the cop. We've been there. I'd done it so often. So that I'd just love to have been on the pitch in that second half attacking the cop.
Amazing. Brilliant. Good question. Good question.
Mate, thank you.
Sorry, it's a bit more of a sort of bit of a personal one kind of thing. So obviously you did the whole top 10 recently, 10 best Liverpool players and all that. And it got a lot of debate going, but I want to sort of flip it and think, is there any underrated players that during the time at Liverpool while you were there who you think would have been good under a different manager? Like, for example, I think Yossi Benayoun would have been great under Klopp, or Momo Sissoko would be good in the Arne Slot team now. Anyone like that who sort of stands out?
Oh God, you put me on the spot there. I don't know. I think a lot about some of the players that I think would have been great in our team and would have maybe got us over the line in terms of a league title. I always look at Sadio Mane. I always think, Mo Salah. The wide areas were probably where we were, not let down's the wrong word, but we had a great spine under Rafa Benitez. You think of the midfield we had, you think of Torres, and there's Stevie up front. We had a decent centre-back at the back. He was all right as well. Yeah. He didn't play that season. And I think we could have done with a great winger. I think of John Barnes in that team, Salah, Sadio Mane. But players, I don't know, it's a great question, that. What player do you think of that team would have sort of, well, would certainly, what do Liverpool need right now that they've had in the teams that maybe I played in?
See, it's
Without
easy
saying
to say
Steven
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
Yeah, no. Well, because the one that keeps going back to me is I'd have Fabinho, but obviously that's quite a recent one. But I think someone like, I don't know, like an Igor Biscan or someone like that, just someone who could you can get you over the line, just who'd put in a good tackle, who'd put in a bit of energy, just someone in the middle of the pitch who, like a Wijnaldum,
If I was
going
to name 100 Liverpool players, I don't think I'd have named Igor Biscan.
well, that Champions League run 2005. But just someone who in the middle of the pitch is actually going to have a bit of energy and is going to show something like that. It's clear at the moment, like McAllister.
Well, I think Sissoko's a great shout. Rather than just saying the best players like Suarez or Gerrard, I actually think Momo Sissoko's a great shout in terms of when I think of what Liverpool need now, they need someone who can run in the centre of midfield, not go and sign someone for 100 million, someone who's going to come in and do a really good job. So I'd say Momo Sissoko, yeah.
Lovely. Well done, Lewis. Well done.
Thank you.
Cool. So what I was saying, it's funny that we were talking about underrated Liverpool players, and my question basically is whether you believe that you're underrated. And I say this because obviously you're very visible, have a big social media presence. People sometimes disagreeing with your takes. So, I was unable to do that. But I was unable to share.
Articulate it.
Yeah. And I sort of mentioned, to be fair, so I remember Van Dijk, he kind of like famously said, he was doing like an interview with Gary Neville, it was, and he basically said that you wouldn't get into the Liverpool squad of a couple of years ago. I think it was Van Dijk, Konate, Matip and Gomez. And funny enough, I actually defended you, and I said, we talk about, Matip, Konate, maybe, I don't even know, but I was like, Joe Gomez better than Carragher. So I thought it was crazy. But a lot of Liverpool fans actually came out and they disagreed with that, which really shocked me, because I think, to be fair, early on in your career, because I'm 28, so I remember actually watching you, and my dad watched you a lot as well. Early on in your career, I think when you were out at fullback, he used to complain about you a lot. But certainly in that period under Benitez, for about 4 years, I thought you were top centre-back. I think it's just maybe, you're looking at England, there was just a lot of top centre-backs around that maybe you didn't sort of play more genuine. But anyway, what's your thoughts? Do you think you get into Liverpool squad of a couple of years ago?
Do you think you're underrated?
I'd get in the team.
Okay, cool.
I get in the team. I'm not a big-headed person by any stretch of the imagination, but I would definitely stick up for myself. In terms of fullback, you're right. I was not a great fullback. But what I would say to defend myself, I played in a back four when I was fullback that always had the best defensive record in the Premier League for sort of 2 or 3 seasons. Now, when I played fullback for Liverpool, the first time I played there was a game away at Watford. I would have been 22, 23. I'd never played fullback in my life. Not at school, not at Sunday League football, not at Liverpool, not at any level. So my first game as a fullback was in the Premier League. I ended up playing for England at fullback. I ended up winning trophies for Liverpool at fullback. So I'm really proud of what I did as a fullback. I wasn't Ashley Cole. I wasn't Kyle Walker. I knew that. But I knew what my strengths were. I was a really good defender. And in those times, a little bit like Arsenal, that's why I keep saying the Liverpool team I played in reminds me a little bit of Arsenal. When you look at Arsenal's back four, the fullbacks are almost like centre-backs. So that's what we were like. I was almost like Timber, if you like, in that position. He's not Kyle Walker. Hincapie now, or who's the other lad who plays there, Calafiori. They're more centre-backs than wingers, whereas Ashley Cole be more like a winger, wouldn't he? So that goes back to, and he was. No one grows up to it wants to be a Gary Neville, a fullback. So, but listen, I understood I got criticism at the time, but that's part of being, a player. And I wasn't Ashley Cole, I wasn't Kyle Walker.
Do you think there is also something, because you are on screen a lot as well, and people hear a football opinion they might disagree with or whatever it might be, that may have a slight bias towards their head when they maybe think of you then as a player? Sometimes there are pundits who don't do punditry very often, and maybe they are just thought of more as their carear as a player sometimes.
I'm glad I'm thought of more. I've said this before. I didn't want to just be remembered as a player. I want to have a life after that. But in terms of centre-back, I'd be in Liverpool's team even under Jurgen Klopp. That to me doesn't mean that's true. The way I look at it is, could I have played next to Virgil van Dijk, who is for me, the best centre-back in the Premier League? So they're playing against the best centre-back in the Premier League, yeah? In Liverpool's probably best team for 30-40. Could I have played there? Not a problem. Could Gomez, Matip and Konate played in the team I played and done what I did?
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very
Very
good
good
point.
point.
Well done, mate. Brilliant.
I got a question about defenders actually, because I strongly believe that the Serie A has had the greatest range of defenders ever, and I know you played
Serie A?
the Serie A. So I think you played against some of the best Serie A defenders ever, and also you grew up watching a lot of them. So I just wanted to know your top 5 greatest Serie A defenders ever.
Baresi's number 1.
Okay.
Baresi for me is the greatest centre back of all time. And I would urge any views, because these are all on YouTube and that, go and watch that man's performance in the World Cup final against Romario. It's an unbelievable performance. You can get just the Baresi clips on there. I watch it probably every few months. And the amazing thing is, the first game of that World Cup, they played Republic of Ireland. And if you ever remember, Ray Houghton got the winning goal. Baresi does his knee ligaments in that game. He doesn't play another minute of football until the final. So he has a knee operation after the first game in the World Cup, then plays in the final.
Like 3 weeks later.
Against Romario. And the game finishes 0-0 after 120 minutes. I mean, the guy is just like my ultimate. Maldini would have to be there, wouldn't he? He'd have to be.
Yeah,
To think I was watching that guy play football in the late 80s, early 90s for AC Milan, who for me were the greatest team I'd ever seen until Pep's Barcelona came along. And to think, if someone had said to me, you're going to play in the Champions League final against them and win.
We played him against him twice as well.
Twice, yeah. Sorry, we forget the other one.
I wonder why.
You know, to think I'd have shared a pitch with someone of that stature and that ability was just mind-blowing. Other Italian defenders.
Nesta. That's one that comes straight to mind for me.
He played in that game. Yeah, he was a big fit. Cannavaro, Ballon d'Or winner as well. I think who
Serie A
else?
maybe from the 80s as well. Or?
You know what?
You mentioned him a lot. You adore him.
I haven't. I know that name, and he's put up really high.
Very highly, yeah.
But again, it goes back to the fact they didn't win European Cup, so they're not on
He
my
did win a
radar.
European Cup.
Did he win the European Cup?
With Juventus, yeah.
What year?
Oh, in 85.
85.
Did he play in that game?
Yeah.
I thought he was more early 80s with Trapattoni.
He was also, he was there throughout the whole 80s. He also won the UEFA Cup, I believe, as well.
Okay.
But I think Serie A is just very highly rated. He's a bit older than Baresi, so when Baresi was sort of growing in the space and entering into the national team, Serie A was kind of like the benchmark, but I mean, there was a big age gap.
But you got to think of Bergamy as well. He wins the World Cup, doesn't he, in 80? So was he 18 or 18?
He was young, but he was successful for Inter as well. So he had a very good career.
Do you have a thing for like Italian football? Obviously, I guess when you were growing up as well, it's still like the biggest competition in the world, wasn't it?
I think for me, Barcelona and Real Madrid are always the 2 biggest clubs in the world. They're the clubs who every young kid around the world, especially probably in South America, they just think, I want to get there. That's where I want to go. And I think most players in the Premier League, I think when Trent went to Real Madrid, I was getting criticism of Liverpool fans. I think most people in the dressing room were thinking, I wish I was going. I do. I'm not daft enough to think players don't think that. But for me, you probably people too young in here, but Gazzetta dello Sport was like that's the big news. Was that the name of the show?
Yeah.
That was the name of the show.
It's the newspaper in Milan.
No, but what am I? I'm thinking.
Gazzetta, the Spanish. The
Channel 4 one.
Tobes, go on.
Gala, was it not?
Gazzetta is Spanish.
Gazzetta is a newspaper.
What was it, James Richardson show?
Italia.
We'll find out. I'll put it in post.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that was just like that time for Italian football. It was just like, it's just levels above what England were.
I just wanted to ask you one quick follow-up question, right, Jamie? Because you mentioned Sacchi's team earlier, and you mentioned Benitez as well. Benitez famously said that he studied Sacchi's football under Milan, and he based his philosophy on that Milan team in the late 80s. Did you see a lot of resemblance with your Liverpool teams potentially in terms of like the tactical side with that AC Milan team? Did you see that kind
Tactically, obviously we didn't have the players they had in terms of Van Basten and Ruud Gullit at the top end of the pitch. But we used to do a practice that he got from Arrigo Sacchi, which was basically something that players don't like, positional play without the ball. So what Benitez used to say was, the ball's at the opposition's left back and we don't have to move as a team. Boom. The centre midfield player's got it. What position would we all be in? And that's why under Benitez, we became, I think, arguably, probably defensively the best team in Europe. At that time, we went to Real Madrid, won 1-0, kept a clean sheet. We went to Barcelona 3 times, not just under Benitez, once under Houllier as well. We played in the Nou Camp 3 times, conceded 1 goal. You know what I mean? We went to the San Siro, didn't concede a goal. We beat Inter Milan 1-0. We could go anywhere in Europe. And a lot of that was to do with that organisation. But what's really interesting, I went to Arrigo Sacchi's house.
Oh, you
Yeah. He was there. Someone wrote a book, a journalist, and he knew that I sort of liked Arrigo Sacchi, and he was going to interview him. or he was going to get him to speak to him about the book or something. He said, "Do you want to come along?" So I went and spent the afternoon. I done an interview with Rigo Sacchi in his house. Yeah,
Were
Very
you a bit
interesting.
fanboy in that esque? Was it like, oh my God,
he's just like,
yeah.
because he's the guy from the 80s who Benitez or even Jurgen Klopp. So all them coaches were saying he's the figurehead. The way Pep is now, in 20 years' time, every coach will be like Pep Guardiola, or the way Johan Cruyff was for certain peoples. He was always that guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very revolutionary for football.
Yeah. And why is he remembered?
I feel like I've just been in the quiz here. You're the Italian.
Well, I don't know, for a few men, back-to-back European Cups, one of the best defensive records
so
in
that goes back to what we said at the very start. How many leagues did he win?
Less probably than
One.
European Cups.
One Italian Serie A, but he won 2 European Cups. Fabio Capello won up 3 or 4 in a row, but no one remembers him or as much.
Oh, come on, that's harsh. James.
No one remembers him, but it's always Sacchi. It's not Capello.
Yeah.
Sacchi's team only won 1 league.
The England national coach.
I do disagree with you there. I think Juventus are the biggest club in Italy, though. And maybe from Juventus.
No,
but
I agree. But what I'm saying is, in Italy, I think if you ask people outside of it, that's the point I'm trying to make.
I get what you're saying with the European
Juventus
heritage.
have got the most leagues, won the most
trophies.
I'm well aware that Juventus is the biggest club in Italy, but people outside, I don't think give enough kudos to Juventus because they haven't done enough in the Champions League or the European Cup.
So would you say then Liverpool are the biggest club in England?
Well, I'd always say that, wouldn't I?
No. It's just because I've seen a lot of people say that they think United are the biggest club in England, but AC Milan are the biggest club in Italy. But I just think that's oxymoronic. I think if you think AC Milan is the biggest club in Italy and you think Liverpool's the biggest club in England, that kind of makes sense.
It's like they're our Italian team. You know, just because of the Champions
so
League.
much
We're not
as
watching
well.
your league every week, are we?
No.
Maybe in England, a lot of people would say Manchester United the biggest club. They bring in the most money, biggest stadium, whatever it may be. But I think a lot of people from outside looking in at England probably look at Liverpool because of European Cups.
success. Yeah, fair enough.
Well done, Luca, mate. Smashed
Cheers,
it.
mate. Thank you.
Obviously, you're pretty active on social media for a pundit, or visibly active at least.
Too active a time.
What do you think the pros and cons are of being like that for a pundit like you? And when you see fans of teams reacting angrily at something you've said, does it ever kind of change your view? Do you find it hard to stay completely neutral in those situations when someone's like piling on?
No. In some ways, it probably makes me go the other way. If I think people are coming for me, attacking me, I will not move from my stance. And I think the worst thing a pundit can ever... That doesn't mean you can never admit you're wrong. I think there's a difference. But if I would urge pundits to do, I would urge yourselves to do, if you believe something, but it's not the sort of train of thought of a lot of other people, back yourself. Back yourself. If you believe it and you've got right reasons to back it up, back yourself. You know, and I would die on a hill on my opinions, but there's at times where you think, well, maybe I did get that wrong.
Do you think there's something that's maybe admitting in ways, not necessarily that, I was wrong, but maybe that actually since then they've proved me wrong, or since then it's changed?
It's not about saying I'm never wrong and I'm just going to hold this view, but if I have a view on something, I believe it, and you guys are going against me, or there's people all over social media, I'll be a bit like, I did play 700 games for Liverpool. I do think about the game nearly every day. So I'll go with myself, not use lads, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of pundits, there's very few on Twitter now, isn't he? Because of the abuse and stuff like that. Now, the reason I stay on it is to promote my work, as in like put my newspaper column out, you know, put pieces of Monday Night Football out there. So I'm a bit like, I'm putting that out there to get more eyes on it. I don't really care what you say, but it's out there. There it is. That's what I think. But also I stay on it as well to check what you guys are saying. You know, I'm doing a game. What are the Arsenal fans speaking about right now? Or what? So a perfect example is the Monday Night Football. So I can tell after the Arsenal game just by things on social media, everyone's going nuts about David Raya on the ball. Okay. So I've watched the game, I've gone through it. Okay. So I know that's something, I'm tapping into something that people are talking about. So I think for me, as a pundit, I think you've got to use I like to think I use social media to my benefit. I think you've got to be careful letting social media use you. And at times it doesn't. You get involved in something, you look back and you think, it never works going back at someone.
Yeah.
It never. It feels good. It feels good for a minute, and then you think, fuck off.
It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Well done, Ollie, mate. Well done, Ollie.
Quality as a player, park that to one side, disregard it. As a captain and as a captain only, if Steven Gerrard's there, where do you put Jordan Henderson against him? Because I think the wider footballing world really underrates and disrespects him. At the end of the day, only one of those players won a Premier League with Liverpool. So just purely as a captain, where do you have Henderson?
You got to remember, when I retired and Steven Gerrard left the club, it was who's going to be captain. Liverpool fans were going nuts that Jordan Henderson was the captain. I was defending him constantly for being captain. Number one, because I was like, who else? Well, if he's not captain, don't tell me he shouldn't be captain. Well, who should be captain? And it was right that he was captain. He's a brilliant captain, great lad, been a brilliant player for Liverpool. I still don't think he should have left. He should still be at Liverpool now. I think he made a big mistake leaving Liverpool. He missed out on another league title to go. Obviously, he went to Saudi Arabia, then to Ajax, and he's at Brentford now, isn't he?
He's doing well at Brentford. It's mad to think what he could have done with him this season. He should have left Liverpool. I think he made a mistake. It was because Jurgen Klopp said he'd bring him midfield players. He wasn't going to play every week. What Endo has done at Liverpool, Jordan Henderson's a better player than Endo. He could have done that. And he'd have picked another league title up. I think he made a big mistake there. And what he missed out on is what Mo Salah's going to get in a couple of weeks, in a few weeks, and what Andy Robertson's going to get, and rightly so, a big send-off from the Anfield crowd. Jordan Henderson deserved that. One of our most successful captains, do anything, for his teammates, for his club. Fantastic player, fantastic lad.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, I know I said put quality aside, but the fact that he's not quite on the level of Gerrard in terms of as a player, I think it's more impressive that he's been in a team and captain some very elite players, some of the best players of this Premier League era, and they've turned to him and looked at him as the leader to sort of keep that squad together.
100%. He's been a great leader, I think, alongside sort of James Milner in there. Virgil van Dijk's now the captain as well. So,
do you think the neutral fan perhaps underrates what Jordan Henderson is as a player? Because all his career is always all he does is pass sideways this and that, which is completely not true, but also...
Exactly. You don't play at that level unless you're a top player, and where he came from and what he did, his journey was fantastic, so I've got nothing but admiration and respect for him.
Nice. Well done.
He's not undervalued by me. Ben, you okay, lad?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah. So my question...
You were crying there on his post on... when was that?
Mate, it was bad.
I didn't want to start crying.
Yeah, I think,
He's close. He's been close a few times.
I've accepted it now. It's happening. So my question is kind of twofold. So when you retired, was it always going to be punditry for you? And if so, what was it that made you want to do that? But if you did want to go down the coaching route, have you ever thought about how you would set up a team as a manager, what your style would be? So if you were kind of put into Liverpool from next season as the manager, forgetting the troubles or whatever of this season of what you would correct, how would you go about setting up a team in the Premier League if you were going to do that?
I was always going to go into coaching and managing. I always thought about the team. I always thought about how we should set up, what players we should buy and sell. Everyone in the dressing room thought I would go into coaching. I started doing my coaching badges. I didn't get the bug for it. I'm not someone who... What do I love about football? I don't love a really clever training session that a coach puts on. Pass it there, run there, do this, do that. That wasn't for me. For me, it was almost being a manager and I'm picking a team and dealing with the press, and I'm putting on, I think I've got something about me in terms of a personality. So that was something that would have got my juices flowing. So the actual coaching side of it didn't really.
It's more the man management kind of side.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously I didn't do that, but that sort of figurehead of a club. But I then started doing punditry in the Euro 2012, and the panel was Roy Keane, me, Gareth Southgate and Roberto Martinez. So there was 4 of us for 3 spots, so we'd mix it around. So you think of, what Gareth's gone on to do, obviously Roberto. He was a manager then, Roberto. And I got the bug for it. I love talking about football. For me, punditry is absolutely made for me. I talk about football constantly. I'm always thinking of things for the future and narratives and different things. So I've made a great decision in terms of doing the pundit, because it's my life now.
Is it nice you can leave it at the door as well? Like once you go home, you're not having to worry about the training session for tomorrow and stuff like that.
It's not even a training session. I mean, as a player, the ups and downs, the roller coaster, because I only played for one club and it was my club. So you feel everything so much more, and I was glad to sort of just park it and be done with it. But in terms of setting up a team, I look at the Liverpool team all the time and think, why is he playing him? Why have they bought him? I go back to the summer. Why did Liverpool buy Isak and Ekitike? Because my first thought, people get excited, fans, we've got this. My first thought, where are they going to play? How's that going to work? 2 big strikers in a club doesn't work. Tottenham could never buy a striker like Harry Kane, because he was always going to play. So if Isak comes into Liverpool and it works and he does what we want him to do, which is score goals, he'd be playing every week. So how is Ekitike ever going to get minutes? So it's not about numbers. It's like, well, okay, if you have Isak and he's going to do... Now people might say, we got injured, it's good, we've got Ekitike now. But that's not the plan. The plan's not for him to get injured. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So how is Ekitike ever going to get his minutes
It doesn't make sense.
How do you think they manage that next season?
I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, it's going to be.
People keep telling me Ekitike playing the left. I haven't seen him playing the left once this season.
He's up on the left
people
for a bit,
keep saying, people keep, oh, we can do this, we can do this. You're fudging things. You're trying to get someone in. So for me, the big thing for me about Liverpool right now, and the biggest thing I'd want to fix if I was the manager, and I'd be buying players to fix it, is off the ball and pressing and being energetic. And the reason Anfield is such a fortress for us is not because we've always been the best team with the ball. It's because we've been the best team without the ball. And that's the thing Arne Slot has to fix next season.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Jamie.
But I thought we'd get an Everton fan on as the last question.
That was the season you could have gone down and it was gone to one. Do you remember?
I remember goals that season.
What game was that at home? Was it Coventry?
Coventry, I don't know, it was a year before I was born.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Coventry, yeah.
I've got an Everton-related question for you. You know, as a Liverpool supporter now, your relationship with Everton is a bit different to that of the standard Liverpool fan. But obviously you had a good career with Liverpool. My question is, would you swap that career if you had the exact same career but for Everton?
Oh, what a question. Oh, God.
What an ending. What an ending.
Well, listen, if that was the question when I was a 10-year-old kid, that of course would have been, that was my dream to have that career for Everton. But what I ended up doing for Liverpool, no, I can't change that, can I? And I can't do that.
Would it tighten it a bit more?
Yeah. Do you still have an affiliation for, like, when you look at Everton, like, is there still that kind of 10-year-old kid inside yourself?
When I meet my heroes, yes. When I meet Neville Southall or Peter Reid or Graham Sharp, I still think, I went home and away. I went everywhere. I went to a European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final in Bayern Munich. I was only 7. So we were a big family. We went home and away.
Sure, that adds to it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I'll never forget. And I'm not one of those, because Peter Reid was a big Liverpool fan as a kid. He will never hear him speak about Liverpool, because there's a thing with Evertonians, they just can't stand Liverpool that much. Now, maybe I annoy Liverpool fans sometimes when I talk about being a kid watching Everton, but that was my life. I'm not going to erase that amazing part of my life, going to Wembley 3 years, 84, 85, 86. I remember the years where they played semi-finals at Villa Park, getting on the pitch when Kevin Sheedy scored a free kick against Luton. I'm not going to forget, that was my life. I loved it, and I still love it, and I love looking back, and I love talking to my friends and family about it. But as soon as I became Liverpool, that stops. I'm Liverpool, so I would never change what happened, for me playing career. But I'll never forget. I'll never forget you.
Really quickly, are you nervous for the derby?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I think that's normal. It's more excitement for the derby for me. But it was totally different when I was an Everton fan. That was nerves. Because
it's horrible.
No, because Liverpool should win the derby. Liverpool, more often than not, will be a better team. And I used to have this mentality going into a derby game when I was a player, because you'd be nervous and excited and, the derby. But I used to always go to bed before the derby and I'd just think, if we play well, we'll win. And I used to always know that even if Everton play well, they still might not win. That was always my thought process. And that was my thought process as a kid, flipped. Because I knew Liverpool were better than Everton more often than not when I was a kid. And it was like, oh God, are we going to win this? And stuff like that. And I think going to the game, Liverpool aren't playing well. Everton are in great form. But I still think big pitch, the pitch is a lot bigger than Goodison Park as well. I'm just thinking of it getting in those little pockets. And I've already played the game out in my head.
These big holes right there.
Okay. Well, that was fantastic. Well done. Again,
thanks, mate.
Jamie, thank you so much, mate. Honestly, I really appreciate it. So there we have it. Every fan, was in as much time as we could, asked Jamie Carragher a question that he had to answer. Jamie, thank you so much for being good sport. Honestly, we really do appreciate it. Honestly, thank you, mate. Again, thank you to everybody here. Thank you guys at home for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you very, very soon.